Hi everyone, welcome to Escape TV. My name is Rajni, and today I have with me a very special guest on our show. Her name is Elnette Parsons. She is a nutritionist, a gym instructor, a personal trainer, and also a teacher. Well, Elnette, welcome to Escape TV. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. I'm very well, thanks.
Well, and you also look well, and I'm going to, we have a lot of questions to ask to you. And but before I ask you about anything, before I get into, fitness, health, and all those things, I would just like to start with, you are a nutritionist, a gym instructor, a personal trainer, a teacher. How are you all these things, and how do you take out time to do all these things? So how do you manage it?
I think it comes down to planning. You just need to plan and make sure that you schedule things in your diary. I mean, it can be quite hectic, but then also you need to make a conscious decision and know what your goals are. So my goal is to really just focus on my nutrition business and make a success of that. Therefore, I'm scaling down on my teaching, and I am will be able to work only 2 days teaching, and then the rest of the week I will be able to focus on my nutrition. Also, collaboration with other people. So it's all about being smart with your time.
I get it. Okay. So also, I would actually like to ask you that, because obviously you are so many things. So I just would like to ask you about a bit of your journey. If you can please tell about a bit of your journey. I mean, how did you end up becoming all these things, and what did you do basically?
Right, so I'm South African, grew up in South Africa, moved to the UK in 2001. Always
Mhm.
been interested in health and wellness. My mum was a food technology teacher, nutrition. So I've grown up around food and always try live a healthy lifestyle, being active. I ended up going to university, and my main subjects were nutrition.
Mhm.
So I've always been had an interest in it. And then we moved to the UK in 2001, started out teaching, and then we were here for a couple of years, and I got introduced to some really interesting nutritional products. I started looking at it and just got more interested and experienced how food actually can heal the body. So explored nutrition more, and then in 2014 I qualified as a nutritionist. I then at that stage actually went part-time teaching and did my nutrition part-time. But unfortunately, due to circumstances, I had to go back into full-time teaching. My husband was in an accident, so I had to go back to work. So my nutrition got put on the back burner. He was out of work for quite a long time. And during that time, which was obviously quite a bit stressful, I started to just only also for myself to just have a bit of time out. I started training with a personal trainer. We're very good friends now, and I really loved it. And he suggested and said, "Why don't you become a personal trainer?" So around 2016, I qualified as a personal trainer, and I then did my business part time, and then I was offered a full-time job in teaching again. So I went back into teaching, but during the lockdown, I
Mhm.
realized I want to do my nutrition, and I really want to focus on that and help people to live a healthy lifestyle. I'm also busy publishing a book. So I'm really passionate about health and wellness, and especially during these times where we need to look after our health. If we eat the right things and if we are active, then we can really give our body the defenses it needs. So, yes, that's where I am now. I have also got two partners, Rena Luzo and Julia Rebels, which are mindset coaches. So, we are looking after the mind and then at the body, and in that way create a mind body balance.
Wow, that's really amazing. And And the story is also amazing. Your journey is amazing, and I wish you all the best for your this nutrition journey. And I hope that people take your advice and people actually, because this is I think it is a high time to for everyone to to take care of their health, not just physically but also mentally.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay, so now moving on to my next question, I actually would like to know, you are a nutritionist, so I would like to, you are the best person to, ask, to be asked a question like this. So I actually would like to know from you that what is the best piece of advice as a nutritionist you would like to give to the audiences who's watching us right now?
So, when I looked at that question, I was wondering, and I thought, gosh, there isn't just one single thing. There's so many things, um, advice that you can give people. It really depends on this on their situation. But if I have to think of, in general, things that I would tell people is, I think at the top of my list it will be is try to limit processed junk food. It is
Okay.
incredibly unhealthy. If you can limit that and try and cook from scratch and eat wholesome homemade food, then you would minimize your risk for disease. I mean, processed food are low in fiber, they are low in proteins, they're low in our micronutrients, but they're very high in sugar, salt, and fat. And they just provide empty calories. So that is one piece of advice. Something else which lots of us neglect is sleep. It's so important to get enough sleep. If we don't sleep enough, then we can increase the risk of obesity, because actually, whilst we sleep, we do lose weight, and poor sleep interrupts our hormones, the functioning of our hormones. It can drive insulin resistance, a host of things that can go wrong. So, really good sleep is very important. And then also our gut health. Our digestive system is commonly referred to as the second brain. It is so important that our gut microbiome is healthy, and that we feed our good bacteria in our tummy, because that's where everything happens. So if we've got a healthy gut, then the rest of our bodies would follow suit. And then last but not least, we need to make sure that we have a balance between our omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-6 and omega-3 are essential fatty acids. We need to get them in through our diet. But omega-6 is an inflammatory fatty acids, which will trigger an inflammatory response, which our body needs when something goes wrong, when there is a disease or something happening which is going to be not to benefit of us. And that triggers this inflammation process. But omega-3 is then the one that needs to stop this inflammation process. And that's how the two should work in synergy. But due to our diets, we have now way too much omega-6 and not omega-3. So that inflammatory process, it doesn't get switched off. It just carries on. And that's where we get the diseases that is linked to inflammation, like heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, allergies, pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, all these diseases. So it's really important to balance these fatty acids.
Okay, okay, great. So, like you mentioned about omega-3, I think there's this speaker.
I can hear you fine.
I'm really sorry about that. Yeah. So I think there's this speaker thing. Okay, now I think it is okay. So I was asking you mentioned about omega-3 and the importance of it, obviously. So I would like to know, before I ask you about the quantity and other things, so I would like to know about, what is that balanced diet a normal person should have in a day? The perfect
So
balanced diet.
it's so it really depends on your lifestyle, what how active you are. So there's no one size fits all, depending on a person. A child will have different dietary needs to an adult. An older adult will have different diets to an adult. So it really depends on how and our lifestyle, our age, our activity level. But for me, a balanced diet will mean I get the right fats in every day. Fat is very important. People are very quick to exclude them from our diet, but fat is vitally important, the right fats, because it helps with hormone synthesis, it helps with the absorption of our fat soluble vitamins. Um, it is really, really important. Also, enough protein. You need to have protein in every meal. Protein helps with satiety, makes you feel full. It also helps you to not have spikes in our glucose, so to give us lasting energy. Also, we want the right carbohydrates. We want our not we want complex carbohydrates, which is going to give us a steady release of energy. And then obviously we want our vitamins and minerals, and on top of that we do want to drink enough water. So we want to include all our food groups. It's just choosing the right. But every person is different. An athlete is going to have different dietary needs to what a normal person or a child will have. So it really depends on the individual. It's not one size fits all.
Okay, okay, got it. So now, you mentioned about omega-3 and omega-6. So now speaking of that, I would like to ask you that how do we know that whether the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is balanced? How do we know that?
Right. So um, ideally, we want a balance of 1 to 1 omega 6 to omega 3 in our bodies. And up to the 1900s, it was like that. But after that, when we started with people started with introducing manufacturing processes, and we started to eating less of the land and more starting to go into processing our food, our the balance has started to fall out of place. So we do a dry blood spot test where you prick your finger and just deposit blood on a piece of paper, a dry blood spot test, and then the laboratory, an independent laboratory, will measure the fatty acid composition in your cell walls. So we can do it with a blood test. We can see whether we are balanced or not. And we recommend 3 parts omega 6 and 1 part omega 3. So you can then see whether you are balanced or not. And equally,
Okay.
yeah, you will then find out whether your body is balanced or not. But if you suffer aches and pains, various forms of inflammation, um, you can have it is quite plausible that you are out of balance.
Okay, okay, got it. So now, I also have one more question for you that how can you get your omega-6 and omega-3 ratio in balance? I mean, you already have told, how can we know the balance? So now, as a nutritionist and gym instructor, I actually would like to know from you that, spe when we talk about a healthy body and a fit body, so there is a lot of misconception towards a healthy body and fit body because, if people are fat, so they can be healthy, and if people are skinny and lean, so they too can be healthy. So and a fit body has a different people have different ideas of a fit body and healthy body. So as a gym instructor now, I would like to ask you that are these two the same thing or they are different?
Okay, so shall I just quickly finish answering the question about how to get the right omega 3s that you've asked in the
Okay.
beginning? Yes. So obviously, ideally, we want to get it from our food. So you would ideally want to get it from wild fish like salmon, but nowadays it's really difficult. People don't necessarily buy that. So we can supplement. But the question is, how do I know if I'm using a good supplement? And that is the thing. You need to really make sure that you buy something that you know is going to work. And this is one thing as well with the dry blood spot test. If you are currently using a supplement, we can do that test for you and you can see what your ratios are. And depending on the result, you will then find out whether your supplement is working or not. But you want something with a really high antioxidant value to protect your fatty acids, so it is working in your body for a long time. There's a very few that works for a long time. I work with a product that will protect you for up to 35 hours. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yes. Coming back to the a fit and a healthy body, you're right. There is quite a big difference between the two. It's not the same. A fit body is, I get that through exercise, through practice, through training. It will allow you to do certain tasks. It will allow you, if I'm fit, it will allow me to lift heavy, to climb, to jump, to run. And through training, I would increase my fitness. You obviously also increase the stresses on your body. That's part of exercise. But in that process, you will make yourself stronger. Um, your body will respond with health and vitality unless you are unhealthy. On the other hand, a healthy body, it's really, really difficult to know whether someone is healthy. To say you are healthy, it means you are really free from disease. And none of us would know we are free from disease
Mhm.
unless we are lying on an autopsy table and they cut you open and do an autopsy. So a healthy body is the ability that your body has to get rid of illness and to recover. So they are two different things. So being fit doesn't necessarily mean you are healthy, because we all know about marathon athletes that's completing a marathon and then they just drop dead. So yes, health and fitness can be two different things. Like you've said, someone can be fit but they're not necessarily healthy.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. So, I would like to ask from you that being healthy and being fit, are they both important, or what is more important for a person to be?
Both of them's important, but a
Hmm.
healthy body will help you to reach good fitness levels, obviously
Okay.
better. And if you are healthier, you are going to be able to support your body and to recover, which will support your fitness journey. So for me, a
Oh,
healthy body is definitely more important than a fit body.
okay. Okay. And I think it should be for everyone too.
Yeah, you need to be healthy. If you're healthy, then the other things will come as
Come
well.
in place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now moving on to my next question. I have heard this thing, not me, but I think everyone must have heard this thing that if you want a fit body, so you should exercise or you should hit the gym and go to the gym. And, even if you don't have time to go to the gym, you should at least exercise at home. But having said that, I also would like to mention here that we have this thing that not, I mean, exercise and, all the exercises that you do doesn't necessarily give you that fit body. It is 30% your exercise and 70% your diet. Is that true, or is that just it is just a saying?
It is absolutely true. Like they say,
Yeah.
abs are made in the kitchen, or you can't outtrain a bad diet. So it is, your nutrition is really, really important. And when we exercise, we put our muscles under strain. And that is a natural process. It's something that needs to happen. That's when you must have heard of the word DOMS, delayed on muscle soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness. And that is because when we exercise, our muscles tear. And that's normal because that is how it becomes stronger. But obviously, the body needs to be fed the right nutrients to be able to do that recovery process. So to adapt and to become stronger, you need to have the right nutrients. So if you nourish and your body with the right nutrients and the right foods, then you are definitely going to support your fitness journey. So then the fitness will come as well. But if you don't have a good diet, you can hamper your fitness because you are not giving your body what it needs. So you really need to make sure that the calories are appropriate to your goals. So obviously, a marathon athlete is going to have completely different goals nutritionally than a sprinter, for instance, or a netball player, or just a normal person like me. Um, we need to make sure that we include enough of our macronutrients like our protein, carbs, and our fats. Protein is very important. And then you want your vitamins and minerals for help for the antioxidant value, protect your cells against oxidation. And you need to be consistent. Everything you need to be consistent in your nutrition approach. You
Okay,
need the right foundations.
okay, got it. So now but here I also would like to ask you that, if a person doesn't eat good food and healthy food, and they just eat whatever they want to have, and then they hit the gym twice a day or thrice a day, so would that help, or it will be a total waste if you don't change your diet?
It really, once again, I'm sure there are people out there and they look on the outside, they look amazing because we all have different metabolisms. We all react different to food. So that's once again a very individualized concept or thing. It really depends on the person. What works for the one is not necessarily going to work for the other. But very often I find that people, when they start adapting their diet, they realize how much better they are performing and how much better they feel because they give their body the right nutrients that they need to cope with the
Okay.
exercise, and then the body can rebuild itself because you've given them the right building blocks. It's a little bit like building a house on sand. It will fall down at some point.
Okay. Okay. So now, I also would like to ask you, speaking of exercise and, hitting the gym, people in these times normally don't have that much time to actually go to the gym. I mean, apart from if they are actors or if they are, related to this glamour industry, they might have, but, the regular people, those are into business or, 9 to 5 jobs, they don't normally get time to hit the gym. So, and also, because after they come from their work, so they find it they find themselves lazy to even exercise and all these things. So, I mean, as a gym instructor, I would like to ask from you that what is that basic exercises or basic things that you would like to tell to those people to do, to have a healthy and a fit body?
Right. So I have spoken to quite a lot of people in these times, and I have found that people are actually working longer hours at home than what they would be in the office because they don't have to travel. So they actually use that travel time as well. So that's why they don't have time. So they less time for themselves. So the first
Yeah.
advice that I could give someone is to prioritize themselves. Book a slot in your diary, exercise time for Elnette or whatever, exercise time for John. And that is the time that you use for you. It doesn't matter. You can have all the tools in the world, you can have a gym outside your house. Um, if you do not prioritize yourself and actually make time, then you are not going to do any exercise. Now, there is the government guidelines or the national recommendation is that we do at least 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week. I mean, there's various things that we can do. You can go for a walk, or you can exercise at home using your body weight as resistance. There's so many online fitness programs and platforms that we can use now. So it's really not difficult. If you want to exercise, you will find something to do. There's lots of personal trainers. I also offer online personal training. So there's lots of scope for that. But like I've said before, prioritize yourself. Otherwise, none of those resources, you'll never use it. But something that people do not think of, and I mean, here we are doing it, we are sitting in front of our computers. Lots of people sit during the day. So, advice that I can give people is to really look after their hamstrings and their hip flexors and stretch those and do exercises to stretch their hamstrings and hip flexors, because from sitting down, those muscles shorten, and then that's when people develop sore backs, neck pain. They might not sleep very well. So those are the little things that they should do. So during the day, every hour or 30 minutes, get up and do a few stretches. And I mean, there's loads of videos out on YouTube, or if people are not sure, they can contact me and I can tell them what exercises to do. But stretching out the glutes and the hip flexors, look after those in these times is very important.
Okay, okay, okay. And also, I also would like to know from you that can you please tell to the audiences this particular thing, this thing in particular, that if they don't exercise, right now, I mean, especially the younger ones, if they don't exercise right now, what is going to happen in the longer run? And how is their body and how are they going to hamper their health in the longer run if they don't take exercise seriously in these times? Yeah.
I think exercise is really good for your mental awareness and a good mental state.
Mhm.
Also, because we are so limited to our time out. I mean, we're back in where I am in tier three, so we're getting more limited. So
Mhm.
I would advise that people do go out, get a bit of fresh air, just for mental health from that perspective.
Mhm.
Also, if we don't exercise and we comfort it, because we are all locked in, people do tend to comfort it. You will pick up weight, and I've known about so many people who has picked up weight during the lockdown time because they don't go out to go and do any
Even me.
exercise. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think exercise is very, very important and we have to prioritize it. Okay.
Yeah, you can just go for a walk. I mean, a brisk walk where you're a little bit out of breath is better, or go ask a neighbor to walk their dog or something like that. I mean, so it's just important to get out. I think
You just need you just need
mental
to get the
health
fresh
during this
air.
time. Yes, fresh air
Okay.
and just getting out, get the heart rate going, get the good endorphins when we do exercise, because exercise is really good for mental health. And you just feel so much better when you've done something.
Yeah, that is true. Okay. So now moving on to my next question, which I would like to ask from you. I for the longest time I also had this misconception that if women are in their periods, so they shouldn't exercise. I don't know if it is true or it's just a misconception or what, but I would like to know from you because you're a nutritionist, a gym instructor, what would you say? I mean, is it a misconception? Can women exercise, or they
Um,
should not? They should give them, yeah.
So once again, it is depending on the individual. If you are
Okay.
having really hard a hard time during period with really strong tummy cramps and period pains, then obviously exercise will be a little bit difficult for you. It might be a problem, but in general, it is not necessary to stop exercise during your period. So what you really should do is to record through your cycle from day one to up how long it lasts, and pre-menstrual cycle, to see what your mood is like, how you feel like. So if you know on day 2 and 3 of your menstrual cycle you are normally really quite tired, just do exercise that's not that strenuous, like yoga or Pilates. On
Mm-hmm.
other days where you feel a bit more energetic, then you can do the more like cardio or Tabata type exercises of strength. So what,
Mm-hmm.
read your body, listen to your body. If you have really bad period pains, I would suggest you do see a nutritionist, because we can rectify and relieve some of these pains with nutrition. But also, sometimes, believe it or not, when we do exercise, it can help to relax the pain and the muscles. So, no, you do not have to stop exercise on your period. You just need to listen to your body and adapt your exercise accordingly.
Okay, okay. I hope the women are listening, and I hope they are now, they have an answer to this particular question, because, I too had this misconception around this particular question for the longest time, and I too have got my answer now. So now,
Yeah.
moving to my next question, I actually would like to know about apple cider vinegar, because, a lot of people actually mention this to have apple cider vinegar, especially empty stomach in the morning, and also you can have it, before going to sleep in the night. So, I mean, is it that good for your skin and also your body? Does it really help your body to lose weight and lose fat? First question. And also, can women have it during their periods? Because also, I think it is a bit sour in taste, and I think we shouldn't have something like that during periods. I mean, I have heard that. So, if you can clear out the confusion.
Okay. So apple cider vinegar has a long history of being a home remedy. It has been used for centuries to treat various diseases, ailments, but there has not been much scientific evidence that, or scientific studies that underpins the evidence or the claims that people make. But it is really, if you're going to do the research about it, we do get reports that people lose weight on it. Now, that might be because some studies have shown that it reduces your appetite. So that's most probably why people would lose the weight. But
Mm.
also, it has antifungal and antibacterial properties. So when you use it, it can make you feel less bloated. So in that respect, it has made a difference to people. Um, on your period, you can use it. It could potentially help with the flow and the pain, so it's safe to use. But because it's quite acidic, you would like to thin it out with water. You don't want to drink it just neat, so you would dilute it with water, because it is acidic. But yes, there hasn't been concrete scientific evidence of all the claims that people make, but people do say that it reduces the redness of acne, dandruff on the skin, and that most probably comes down to the antifungal properties of apple cider vinegar. But if you think about an apple is which where apple cider vinegar comes from. Apples are brilliant for you. It's a really, really good and healthy fruit for you to have. That it is really an apple a day keep the doctor away. So um, people use it. They see benefits, but there hasn't. It's not that scientifically based that it
Okay,
has.
okay.
Studies have been done, but it's not that. And all the studies that you read, it would say it hasn't been concretely proven, but we have had the reports of this, that, and the other.
Okay. Okay. So also, there is this thing that if you want to have apple cider vinegar, so you should have the one which is with the mother. I mean, there is this thing, apple cider with mother, or I think that is something that will benefit you. I mean, is that something you can help us with?
Apple cider with mother. I don't know what that is. Apple cider with mother.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know. Is it a brand?
So I don't know. No, it's not a brand. It's actually something that if it is with the mother, then you should have it. I mean, because few apple ciders doesn't have the mother part. I mean, so there's some particles, something inside the apple cider bottle. I mean, okay, so we can
Well,
chat it about. We
um,
can chat about it some other day. We
yeah,
can move to our
if
next
you need to
question.
use, you need to get a really good, you need to have organic apple cider
Okay.
vinegar, and you need to make sure, yes, that it's a good brand. so
Okay.
that you get the correct health benefits from it.
Okay, okay. So now, I actually, okay, I mean, we don't have this question in the questionnaire, but I just would like to ask you, if you allow me. So, a lot of people have this thing going that if you are a vegetarian, so, you might not get, much nutrition in comparison to the non-vegetarian ones. So, is it true? And if, I mean, how can the vegetarian ones get the nutrition like proper?
Vegetarians can get the nutrition. They just need to really plan carefully. It will be a lot of planning on their part.
Mhm.
They can be deficient in vitamin B12, especially, which is really good for the nervous system. Um, so it's just much more planning. They can get the right nutrients,
Mhm.
but they probably will. I would recommend all my all my vegetarian clients to definitely look at having to supplement their diet in some way, shape, or form, because it is more difficult to get the nutrients that a meat eater will have. And that's my personal opinion. I know there will be lots of vegetarians that will differ from me with this completely, but it is definitely important to plan. You can do it with very careful planning. You need to really plan your meals and make sure that you get the correct nutrients. But then lots of vegetarians will eat eggs. Egg is very good source of nutrients.
Mhm.
And then we've got your soya products. So yeah, they just need to plan carefully, and they should be able to get all the nutrients they need. They also need to make sure that they are careful with choosing their omega-3 fatty acids. So a good source that is already in the correct form. So
Mhm.
most omega-3 fatty acids comes from nuts and seeds and plant oils. So they are in a form called ALA. So the body first needs to convert it into EPA and DHA. But if you get a good source that is from algae, which I also use for my clients, it's already in the EPA and DHA form. So the body doesn't have to convert it. So they will obviously, it's less taxing on the body. The body can just use it straight away.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. Got it. So now, do you have any last message for the audiences?
All I can say is look after your body. Do as much as you can to live optimally and think what you put in your mouth, because really you are really what you eat. It is so important to prioritize our health. I mean, we can have all the money in the world and we can have the best lifestyles, but if we don't have our life, our health to enjoy that, then it's not going to mean anything. So really think how you can keep your body in balance, because a balanced body will be a balanced mind, and then you will just have much better quality of life. And I would like to invite people to my Mind Body Balance webinars. There's one on the 28th of December, and then there's one in January again, where I will be telling people about our mind body balance program. And I will also have my mind coaches on there, mindset coaches. So yes, if people want to connect with me, I'm on Facebook, Pure Physique Solutions. They can find me there. I'm on LinkedIn as Elnette Parsons. That's where you found me. So I'm available for a chat, for video call or anything if someone needs some advice, or if they would like to test their omega-6 to 3 ratios, that they can contact me. It's really interesting. We have found that only 3% of people in Europe um, is in balance, and our children is even more out of balance. And the average person has a ratio of 15 to 1, which is completely out of line.
Okay. Okay. All right, Elaine, thank you so much for coming to SQ TV and speaking with us. It was lovely chatting with you. And thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. And I hope the audience have learned something.
I hope so too, and I'm sure they did. Okay,
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
you too. Bye bye. All right, guys, that's it
Bye.
from SQ TV. Keep on watching.